Hello, happy Thursday, everybody. It's Josh here with On the Wrong Lead, and yeah, we made it through most of another week here. We got one more day to the weekend. Got some really nice racing coming up this weekend, and highlighted by the Risen Star Stakes. We're getting into the real deal in Derby preps, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a nice little card here. I think we'll have to start obviously with the hometown guy, and that's gonna be Brian, because I know you spent a ton of time in New Orleans.
And you completely threw me off. I had the other windows open, and I'm just hanging out. I'm like, yeah, okay, he's gonna go to Caleb first because it's in Louisiana. I'm like, you're not gonna talk to me, and then, oh crap, I'm on.
Good. I got to keep you on your toes.
You did. Nobody keeps me on my toes. Much like my donation to the gym membership, nobody gets me moving. Although I did like your subtle door close right when you went live thing. That was like almost scripted, man. I don't care what you say.
I just realized so the way my door opens, it just like sits like right here next to me, and so I'm sitting here talking, and all of a sudden I'm just like I just see it out of the corner of my eye. I'm just like, let me get out of the way. Okay, but the real hometown hero here, Mr. Mark Capitan. How you doing, Mark?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Tell me about your summers growing up in New Orleans.
I've never been actually, so somehow one city that I need to check off my to-do list, but have never been there, honestly.
Interesting. All right, so let's get the real. All right, hometown guy, and that's going to be the Brisnet PPs here for Fairgrounds. I'm just kidding, Caleb. How you doing, Caleb?
You know what? We're surviving. It was
Yeah.
first week back in the office since COVID hit. So first week back in the office in like 2 years. And I just do my best to stay awake till 9 p.m. this week. Anything after that's just a bonus.
It really hit me this week that you were back in the office when on Tuesday night at 5 p.m. I logged on to League of Legends and I realized that you weren't online. And like that's like when it really hit me. I was like, oh, like he's back in the office.
Yeah, I
But
gotta commute now, all that nasty stuff.
yeah, oof. I'm like dreading. I know it's coming. My guess is probably sometime in the summer, just because we don't have office space right now. So not really 100% because of COVID as much as it's also logistics. So, but we'll things seem to be calming down a little bit. Cases going down, offices opening back up. Brian dealing with just the dumbest things possible at work and at home. I mean, it's just nice. Things are good. Things are normal. Oh, looks like Jay's already in here. Jay's already in here talking about Turfway. Says good evening, gentlemen. Going to single 12-1 at Turfway in their late pick 3. He's got 1, 2, 7, 8, 9 with the 3, 4, 5, 9, 11 with the 4 here.
There's no way his 4 goes off at 12-1. That horse is going to take money. I'll be shocked if you get 12-1. But I do like your horse quite a bit.
Yeah, we're about 10 minutes to post here. I played a pick 4 here. So I got through the first leg. Mark said he was going to play the pick 4, and then he lost in the first leg. But yeah, I got a little pick 4 here.
I hit the early pick 5 15 times, so shout out.
Shout out Jared Bush.
Just saying. You guys weren't here for it. It's like I have a friend and Mark has a girlfriend, but she's from Canada.
She goes to a different school.
Yeah, she goes to a different school. So Caleb, right as you got on, you just like looked disheveled. You were just like, what the fuck? And then I heard, boom. So what do you got there? What are you pouring over there?
I got the scotch out tonight. I got some Highland Park. This is the Valknut It's one of their Valk series, and one of my favorites.
That's like your go-to, right? You like the Highland Park.
Yeah, I love the Highland Scotches. Highland Park's one of my favorites, and for like $50, it's definitely my like go-to daily drinker for Scotch.
I
Nice,
have a
nice.
hard time finding the named ones around here. I can find the 12 or the 15 or the 18, but I can never find the ones with the names. I keep looking for them, and you lucky bastards.
Yeah, we
What
have a Valk nuts down here, and Valkyrie, I think it is, and then Sheldon mentions Valfather, something
Bellfather, I think,
Valfeather
yeah.
maybe all the
Yeah,
time.
I've heard
It's a whole
Valfather's good.
series, but everyone I've had's been good.
Brian, what you got? You got a beer again today?
No, I'm drinking the Russells again.
Nice.
What is that?
What do
The
you think of
10-year.
that? It was the Russell's 10, right?
Yeah, you know, it's growing on me. It's different. You know, it took me a little bit of time to actually let it open up. I don't want to say open up, but when I popped the bottle, the first two glasses I really didn't care for. But now, well, I've had it open for 2 weeks or so, and it tastes better now, and it shouldn't, but it could also be psychological because I was so burned from that Wadens I was drinking.
Yeah. What was there was a bottle that you just like absolutely did not like, and you like it's okay in the old fashioned, but you didn't like it. Was it the Russells or was it a different one?
No, that was yours.
What about the Evan Williams?
The Evan
The
Williams
Evan
single
Williams.
barrel?
Yep. The Evan Williams I did not care for. Also the Woodford. I hated the Woodford straight, but
Yeah,
with
I don't like
orange
Woodford
bitters,
either.
the Woodford was fine.
Yeah. I so funny story. Caleb and I are in we're in Lexington, and one of his friends was down there, and he's like, "Hey, someone gifted me this bottle of bourbon. Like I think it's pretty good stuff. Like." And like Caleb in his mind is basically like thinking like, oh, it's gonna be like a Buffalo Trace or something like, basically anything but Woodford. And sure enough, the man hands him a bottle of Woodford, and so when he like the next morning, like we left like 2 3 days later, and I noticed that he left the bottle of Woodford behind. It was packed up with the rest of my Scotch bottles and stuff that it's like bottles I drove down with. So I was like, oh, I guess Caleb didn't want to bring this one back. But Mark, what about you? What are you drinking tonight?
It's a single malt. I don't even remember what the name of it is. It's got a really crazy long name. Starts with an A. Auspish is something.
Akatashan or whatever.
There we go. That's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would. You know how my pronunciations
That's
of
a
things
blended,
are. So
I
it's gonna fail
thought.
miserably.
It's
This
a
is their
blended Scotch,
triple.
I think.
Is it a blended? Okay. This is
Yeah,
their triple wood.
three
So
wood.
it's like
Yeah,
three wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So one of my wife's friends gave us a bottle of that, and she's like, "I don't drink expensive alcohol, but for some reason I love this. This is delicious." And it was like the first nice bottle of Scotch I think I had. And I mean, like nice being relative. I think it's like a $55 bottle or something.
Yeah.
And like,
Something like that. I mean, it's good. It's not great. It's not super memorable, but it's good.
cool. Yeah, and then I am Jay's sticking with the basic Bud Light tonight, or Bud. I don't. Sorry, Jay. I don't want to light you up. Basic Bud tonight. And I tried to get in the spirit of things. I didn't have it. I don't have any absinthe in the house, so I couldn't make a Sazerac. So I just made an old fashioned with Peychaud's, which is kind of like the like New Orleans or Louisiana like bitters. I don't know, but they're a little bit more herby than like the orange bitters, the Reagans, or God, I forget what are the super common ones, the ones that are used in everything.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what the
The
names
one with
are.
the white label that's like bigger than the damn bottle. I already forgot.
Oh, you're talking the yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure Jay will know what I'm talking about, but yeah. But so I decided to give a couple little old fashioned here. I used a little VOB, very old Barton that our boy PDT sent me for Secret Santa. So, but yeah, why don't we take a look real quick? We got 5 minutes till this next race here at Turfway Park. We're looking at race 6 here. And Mark, what did you see here first out?
Ended up kind of landing on the 4, the 7, and the 9. I don't even have the form up. So, Kimberly's Dream is actually taking a little bit of money. I tend to play places like Turfway a lot more optics related, looking for proper run styles more so than, fastest horse in the race. I realize the horse is, 1 for 11 at Turfway, but did sort of fit on having the appropriate run style here. Other horse, that I sort of ended up with, I think, are who's going to end up being your favorite, or who's your favorite right now?
I thought it was going to be the
Yeah,
7, but that was
yeah,
let me look at the board.
yeah. It looks like the 7 is your
Yeah.
favorite. So I thought Addison the 7 made a quite a it made a lot of sense here as well. And the other horse I sort of ended up on was the 9. I think all three of them have that. Seeing closers, and especially outside drawing closers being pretty good tonight. So I wanted to have the two outside drawn closery types represented. Even though I think, as Caleb said, there's just not a ton of speed signed up in here.
Yeah, the 9 actually is interesting because of the cutback. They stretched them out to that 1.25 miles, and if you throw that race out, those other Tapeta races seem to fit in here really well. So, what's the 9 sitting at on the board right now? It looks like 5-1. The 9 might
5-1,
be
yeah.
9 might be a little bit of value there in that spot. The horse that I only have 2 horses here. I've got the 3 and the 7. I went with the 3 as kind of the closer type. I really liked the turf races there. I thought that the horse had a little bit of a closing kick there on the sprints. So I thought stretching out a little bit might help this horse out. I think the 7 is your most likely winner in the spot. So the 7 is kind of what I keyed everywhere. And I got both of them equally right now. I had the 7 singled in another pick 4 as kind of my press ticket, but I got knocked out in the first leg because I singled the 13 in leg 1. So kind of just got my spready ticket here.
How are none of you on the 1?
I'm on the 1, Brian.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Caleb. At least 2 of us will have the winner.
I'm with you. Yeah, I handicapped this quickly, but with the scratch of the 6, I saw no speed in this race. So I thought the 1 might get the lead. And yeah, I haven't watched the races tonight, so maybe if it's playing to closers, that's why they're not on the 1. But I thought the 1 or potentially the 8 just get out there by themselves. And I used them both because the only 2 horses I thought had a chance to make the lead. But I do prefer the 1.
And PDT coming in with Angostura. That is the name of the bidders.
There you go.
The bidders brand. So thank you, PDT.
Yeah, Josh, I'm a little
me.
concerned that you didn't play the Josh horse here, because the 1 is a bit of a Josh horse.
The 1 is a bit of a Josh horse. Well, yeah. Well, we got Papa Knight's offspring taking it. So
Me and Brian got it for him.
yeah. Honestly, I may have watched a couple races and just completely figured I'm going to throw speed out. So I was looking, like I said, for those off the pace horses. I think I'm going to come back and I'm going to press because I got knocked out of my pick 4 that I had pressed. I think I'm going to press this 7 here in a pick 3. And just to be safe, I'm also going to include that horse that I may have left off in the last leg that you pointed out, Mark, which I'm sure Caleb. I'm sure Caleb hates that. I'm gonna sit here and include an extra horse, but we'll go 4, 5, 9. So it's going to be 7 with 4, 5, 9 with 2, 3, 5, 13. So what is that? $6? I'll play it for $1. It's $12 play. So
I'm not playing the pick 3, but I'm going to, in honor of other people who like to take $10 and Dutch them with 7 horses. He should not be named, but I was looking for my hat today and I couldn't find it. But I like the 1 and the 2 here. I think if the 1 gets loose, the 1's going to go. And from closers, I think the 2 is going to sit close enough and get first run. So we'll see. I also think 4-1 is a very fair price on that too.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like they're loading into the gate here right now.
Yeah, I always have these problems at Turfway. I just have a hard time separating horses here. I tend to look at them on paper and they just all look the same. Always been a hard track for me. So.
All right, they're getting that 9 in, and they're off.
I do have to say they have a great picture at Turfway.
Oh yeah, their feed is phenomenal. I mean, they do the whole video thing right.
It looks like it's raining a bit there now too.
Yeah, that weather looks kind of
It
gross.
was pouring the last race. It was like raining sideways.
Well,
Fadeaway.
the 7 took a ton of money. Now, I mean, I knew it was going to be favored, but was 5-2 in the gate. It's now 2-1. I
One
wouldn't be
took some money. He
surprised.
was 5-1 in the gate. He's 3-1 here.
Yeah. And they all came down about a point and a half, 2 points.
And the jockey on the one's so low, I don't think he's even getting wet.
Let's see. So it's still 1-8-2. The 2's gonna press in a little bit now. The 7's the best. I think he's got the trip for it, but this one.
Use your 7-pound advantage too. There you go.
That 2 is.
Come with it.
Well, it's 1-2 right now.
Yeah, it looks like there's only 2 horses that can run, unless this 3 actually manages to find his wings.
That 3 gets off the turn and just completely flattens out.
One finds
And
some bleeds.
I think
Two's
this
still
1 is
coming,
gone. No, the 2's coming.
The Turfway Park stretch angle always throws me off.
There we go.
There's the
All
1.
right, Brian, did we do it or did we do it?
Yeah, we tried to tell them, Caleb. We tried to tell them. They don't
No.
want to listen.
You can lead a horse to water.
I'm gonna
Mark
have to
will
bring
use-
out. I'm gonna have to bring out Caleb's League of Legends thing.
Mark will use a 3 to 5 defensively, but we give him a lone speed 3 to 1, and he's like, "Oh no!"
Oh, poor Mark.
Yeah. First race I've seen wired all day. So
Yep, is what it is. But all right, let's take a look at some fairgrounds this weekend. Race 10. We're gonna look at this all stakes pick 4 here. Starts with race 10, the Mine Shaft Stakes. It's grade 3 here, going a mile in 16th on the dirt. Brian, what you got here?
All right, man. So, on at first glance on this race, let me scroll on my PVs here. I got some notes I want to not mess up. When I first looked at the race, I'm like, this is going to be a very competitive race, right? I went way too far. What number race is this one?
10.
Thank you. I scrolled way too far. There we go.
It's all right. Mark scrolled too far too, and now he's out of the picture.
He's still there. He's just short. He fell off the phone booth, the phone book. All right. So I thought race 10 was interesting, right? When you first look at it, you're like, man, this is a great looking field. And then as I started diving into this race, I'm not so sure it's going to be that competitive. So, and here's where I'm going to go with it. And maybe I'm just completely wrong, but I looked at the 5 Miles D with Jose up for Chad. I mean, big surprise, right? The horse is probably going to be your favorite, but rounded into form nicely, and then lost to the horse of the year in the Travers. So this horse this might be the easiest spot that Miles D is gonna have thus far. 4 for 4 in the money at this distance. The biggest question I had was what happens with the pace here, and what Olympiad does. Will anyone go with? Is it technically a step up in competition from what Olympiad's seen before? The 2 back in the Scar Mile, it was 4th, but was that effort really one of those game kind of efforts? I didn't think so. If the track's playing very speed favoring that day, I think the 4's likely, but I like the 5 there. And then I like a bomb that I'll talk about later if nobody else picks it up.
Yeah, honestly, I looked at Miles D pretty closely, kind of, that Travers effort and that Curlin effort. Those are probably the best horses that anybody in this group has really faced. So from a class perspective, which I know doesn't matter.
Right.
I thought Miles D made a little bit of sense, got a little bit of relief and, won 2 nice races at Belmont and Aqueduct. But I just think that run style is just a negative at Fairgrounds. And I mean, even with the better horses, I don't like horses that are going to be kind of sitting off the pace. I want someone who's going to be kind of forwardly placed. Now, I will say that his Discovery last out was a slow pace, and he was only 2 lengths off. So maybe he sits a little closer here at Fairgrounds and makes a first move. I didn't really know what to do with like Olympiad. Olympiad is one of the horses that are gonna you know be part of this pace scenario here up front. Um, and I'll be honest, Olympiad is basically Dr. Post to me. I had no idea who this horse was. I did not know that this horse ran in the Cigar Mile. And then I realized I didn't even know who won the Cigar Mile. So yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really like thrilled looking at Olympiad here at the 3-1 favorites. Um, I looked at midcourt a little bit,
That's Mark's pick.
and I mean, maybe if the horse rounds in
Why
back
do I
in
get
the,
accused of such things?
maybe the horses needed a freshening up, and maybe the horse comes back into it. Once again, if this horse sits a length off, like I'll take all of 8-1, to basically any horse there. The long shot, and I hope, Brian, this isn't the one you were looking at. The long shot I was interested in was the 11 Big Dreaming. Yep, there it is. There it is. I think Big Dreaming's dirt races fit in pretty decently with this group. If you, like I said, I think this horse is going to be right there up on front. And if you're getting anywhere close to 15-1 with Jareth Loveberry, who's a pretty aggressive rider, I mean, I think that this horse fits here in this spot and is going to be, I think, a plus in the pace scenario. But Mark, Caleb, either of you guys got something you want to add here?
Good horse pick, Josh. Good pick.
Thanks.
I got nothing creative. I'm on the same 4 and 5 that Brian is, and pretty much kind of see how Brian's approaching it. So I think it goes to the two of them.
I sort of agree with Mark. This looked like a great race until I saw the 4 and the 5, and then it looks kind of like a 2-horse race. I'd be surprised if one of those two don't win. I probably give the nod to Olympiad, just given the tactical advantage he probably gets in this field. But really doesn't have that much speed. He could be on the lead, or probably no worse than second or third. Miles D is also a classy horse in his own right. No knocks there. If I was going to try to get creative, I took a look at the 2 Silver Prospector. This horse was a really good 2-year-old and 3-year-old. Didn't really move forward at all at 4, but also missed a lot of his racing season at 4. He only raced 4 times that entire year, and it just seems like things weren't going quite right for him there. Last time out was his first start in 7 or 8 months. He was very wide, 5 wider on both turns. That's a death sentence at Oaklawn going a mile, because that run into the first turn is so short, and it does have the short stretch. I'm not going to read too much into that. At 15-1 with Rosario taking the mount here, I thought this horse was interesting. Maybe more likely to run underneath than to actually win, but he's the only price horse that I thought had a chance here.
I just had to say, Josh, you talked about midcourt, and I actually had a note from midcourt that said, wasn't Van Doff, but can we go with the eased up angle? Has anybody done the ROI on eased up angle?
That's a poser Van Zoff angle.
Well, like I said, go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just going to say, midcourt's a player here if he runs back to some of his 2020 form probably, but it seems like he's sort of tailing off now. I mean, like his 6-year-old season didn't seem to be as good as his 5-year-old season. He won an allowance last year. I mean, I realize there's a lot of layoff lines and there's obviously some sort of an injury going on, something else going on with him, but it just kind of feels like he's tailed off a little, doesn't it? Like, best days are behind him.
This is basically an allowance race, so
I think
it's a horse that made grade 1 winner combatant. So I'm not combating.
But yeah, midcourt's probably been aggressively placed, right? I mean, the trainer and the owners have placed that horse to try and get money, and probably
they've gotten paid for doing that. So
I just laugh because when you look at midcourt's PPs, you just look at all of those like 4 and 5-year-old California horses that were going to be the next big thing that just sucked, like Higher Power, who was the other one? The Extra Hope. Like all these horses that were like in their 4-year-old season. You're like, oh, this is gonna be the next big West Coast like handicap horse, and like they just like, yeah, it didn't turn out. And I mean, Midcourt was one of them too.
Yeah, but
Hey, look, there's
improbable
G1 winner
standing.
combatant.
Yeah. Multiplier.
Yeah.
Multiplier.
Who won the big cap last year? What was that horse? The horse that I bet a ton of money at Del Mar, and the horse didn't run a step. I don't even remember who won the big cap last
That's
year.
a long and distinguished list, Josh.
Yeah. I also bet combatant off that big cap win as well. So
I think it was Idol last year.
Idol. Yeah, because Idol, he
Idol,
went on the
that
bench,
horse.
right? And then he comes back.
He came
and I'm
off a
like,
long
oh.
layoff or second off a layoff, I think. Yeah.
Was that the day that your dad hit that huge pick 5 too?
That might have been because we were at Saratoga, so that had to be like mid-August.
Mm-hmm. That might have
No,
been
it couldn't have been because Dad hit the pick 5 at Del Mar in that Santa Anita.
No, it
No.
was a Del Mar race that I bet
Oh,
Idol.
you mean when he came back after that? Yeah, that might have been.
Hey, what do we have to do to get a Josh and Mr. Knight podcast? I think that'd be phenomenal.
That would be the most amazing thing ever.
Next track trip, I'll bring my my recording gear. We will get Papa Knight on.
Let's
And
do it.
we will talk cheap speed.
And Caleb can't be there because he'll downplay every cheap speed horse you two talk about, and that won't be entertaining at
No,
all.
I'll stay out of the way. They can handle it.
I mean, Caleb basically says that he doesn't have to if he's talking to his dad or me, he doesn't have to talk to the other one because he already knows which horses we're going to be.
I already know who you guys are picking.
But we got a little bit still here till fair or this next Turfway race. So why don't we keep going here? The Fairgrounds Stakes. We're going to go 1 mile and the 1/8 on the turf. Mark, what do you like here?
So I thought this was a really interesting race in the fact that I felt like you could go a lot of different directions. I think your morning line favorite is 2 Emmys, and I think 2 Emmys will probably take a fair bit of money here. Horse has run well across the ground, and it gets this kind of a distance. Some tactical speed where he can be somewhat involved, early on in the race, and but he's kind of been a hot item between trainers, been moved around a lot, but he seems to be the kind of horse that makes a lot of sense here. I thought, though, that I kind of wanted to go a different direction, and the horse I thought was really interesting in here at a bit of a price is the 3, Santon. Horse that's improved every single, start of his career, almost won the Hollywood Derby last out, and seems to be a horse that is kind of putting the pieces together. They have him 12-1 on the morning line. He doesn't need a huge step forward off that last start to be a player in here, and I thought he was super interesting. There's also a number of different ways you guys can go in here. But I'll let you guys talk about it and see where we end up.
Not to mess with the mojo, but I realized I didn't look at chat here for the last race. But Jay does think that the 7 looks to be the speed that was mid-court last race. He's a little confused as to why Miles D keeps on getting a new jock. Any thoughts on that?
A little interesting as well. I think that horse is very much a C tier Chad. So Chad's just kind of taken whatever local jock is available. I don't think that's a horse that a Jose or a Rad are going to fly into town to ride. I think it's just not a good enough Chad, and he's just kind of putting on whoever's available. That would be my guess.
Nice. Road Warrior has shown up finally. So he's saying, "What's up, people?" I'm surprised that the funny thing is I just figured Road Warrior was going to be all over Miles D in this race. However, he says, "Screw Miles D. He cost me a lot of money last summer." Just kidding, or am I? I don't know, Road Warrior. You do seem to be the type to hold grudges. I remember when we had Road Warrior Andrew. We had him on a podcast once, and I mean, he just laid into I believe it was, I forgot if it was Kentucky Derby or Breeders' Cup, but he just laid into it. I mean, he laid into them about why he just hates those big days. So. Jimmy Two Eyes joining in. He says he was with you at Santon. I took a close look at Santon as well in this race. I I didn't include, but I just marked them with a question mark here for later on. Jay also saying with the 2 Silver Prospector, he draws inside and always seems to improve in second race off a layoff. So, couple
the
things
problem
to
is
think
that
about
we've
there.
all been trying to bet Silver Prospector for about 2 years now, and none of us are getting our money back. So I keep trying to make excuses for that horse, and literally have done it for 2 years, and he just keeps burning my money. So maybe this is a soft enough field that he can, show his best against, but he won't be taking any of my money on Saturday.
Silver Prospector is one of those like older horses that I just get confused with other horses all the time. I thought Silver Prospector won the Met Mile. Who's the horse that won the Met Mile? Is it Silver State?
Silver State.
Silver State? Yeah. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like I can't keep these Asmussen horses straight. Brian, what did you think in this race here?
So I went a completely different direction than Mark, which is a little surprising. Normally Mark and I are on similar horses. When I capped this race, I looked at the 2, 7, and 11 probably having somewhat of a pace pressure situation. And as a result of that, I decided to take a swing here. And I look back for the last 9 years on what's won this race at the Fairgrounds. And that takes you to my pick, Captivating Moon, the 8. So the Captivating Moon should benefit from the pace situation. And it's one of those things where for the last 9 years, the horse that enters with a quote unquote good turf pedigree has won this race. And the favorite has not been very successful in this race. So I'm going to swing here. I think the horse is, 20-1 on the morning line. I do like the Jareth Loveberry, Chris Block, Hawthorne shout out. What up? But it's just one of those horses that I think can surprise if the pace goes like it might on paper.
Yeah, I mean, the front end melted on this race last year, if I remember right. And so you're expecting the same thing to happen, the front end completely come off this? Because I think that's probably how Captivating Moon can be most likely win. He basically needs the front end to completely collapse.
That's kind of how I saw it, right? I saw that, the 2 and the 7, being up front. If the 11 decides to pressure, it's one of those things that there has to be a few things that happen. If Brian Hernandez Jr. sends the 1 from the inside, who knows what happens at that point? But, it's one of those races where I'm not going to be comfortable taking a horse that's 3-1 or 2-1 because I think there's so many variables in this race.
Yeah, I don't know what they're calling for weather in New Orleans on Saturday, but it concerned you at all that the Captivating Moon's best career race and obviously winning this last year came across a pretty soft course?
It is what it is. Captivating Moon lost last out to probably the horse of the year at the Starbucks over there in Arlington Heights in Busy Channel. So I think it Sorry, I think Josh just walked away too. That's no fair.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I had money on that race and I won.
Did you win or did your wife win that race? Busy Channel seems like a Josh's wife kind of horse.
No, that was definitely me.
But no,
Busy Channel seems like my wife's horse.
I thought wasn't she the one that went by names?
Dude, I see Busy Channels running and I don't even I just bet hit the W button.
But Mark, you're probably right. The only thing I was really looking at is, at that distance, the horse is, 1 win and 2 starts. At Fairgrounds, 33%. Yeah, sure, the horse is 5 for 33 lifetime, but obviously seems to like the Fairgrounds surface. So if it's a little soft, if it's a little firm, I think the horse could be a player. I think it's more one of those things where, if you look at time form, the horse has not really been in a lot of races where the speed's been good or it's been red or anything like that. This might be an opportunity that Captivating Moon kind of needs. And at that price, I can't pass it up.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things you never talk your friends off at 20-1. So I mean, I'm
Never.
not gonna I'm not gonna complain about you taking a shot at a price. That's a price that you can get to with a little logic. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I think when I took a look at this race, I probably saw it somewhat similar to Mark. I did look at Captivating Moon, Brian's pick there, and 20-1. I mean, I don't hate that pick at all. He did win this race last year. I don't know that he quite gets the setup. I think the pace will be quick, but not necessarily nuclear. I don't really care for 2 Emmys. I thought that horse should have won that last race and, coughed up a 2-length lead in the stretch to 40 under, who in my mind is still like a $20,000 claiming horse. I don't understand like when this horse got good, but and then Halo again. I mean, these horses kind of like have had a few blanket finishes and kind of taken turns beating each other. Monarch's Glen's in that group as well. None of those horses impressed me. I do agree with Mark on the 3 Santon. That's a really interesting horse in here. I'm a little bit surprised nobody brought up the Chad. At least I don't think so. The 6 Adamo. I just thought that I was a little, I don't know if confused is the right word, but I feel like I don't see Chad bring a lot of shippers to the fairgrounds. So I don't know if this horse is just here because he has a horse in the Risen Star or Miles D or what, but it seems like Chad brought some live ones over. Normally he'll save his shippers for Belmont to get a race in them or send them straight to Saratoga. So this horse does show up here. I mean, this horse is raced on pretty much exclusively soft ground, facing just incomprehensibly better company overseas than he's facing here. I mean, there's no St. Mark's Basilica in this race. So I really just think this horse, if he's tuned up and ready to go, I think he probably wins this race. But there are prices to be had, like Mark's 3 and, Brian's Captivating Moon that I wouldn't blame anyone for not necessarily singling here. But for me, I'm going to play against horses like Largent and 2 Emmys, and I'm going to use probably the most of Adamo, I think, the 6.
Wait, are you saying that St. Mark's Basilica is better than any horse that ran in the Starbucks 500K at Arlington Park?
There's the 250.
Gift cards spectacular. Yeah.
250 and a mocha chai latte.
Yeah.
Let's call 500.
Mark?
Hey, Caleb. So you mentioned both the 2 and the 7 in this race. So 40 under and Halo again. What'd you make of that last race that they both came out of? Because the figure for both of those horses, it was just massive figure for both of them in that last race. And I guess it's one of those situations I didn't feel like I could trust the figure. And I didn't know what your sort of take was about that race.
Yeah, I don't. It's a bit of a struggle because if you use the when most figure makers today use the projection method, and 2 Emmys is a very consistent horse. He ran a nice race and just got nailed late, so it's hard to think that the figure was awful. But at the end, you also go back and say 2 Emmys beat Domestic Spending 3 races back. I mean, he was second in the Grade 3 Sycamore, and then he gets beat in a listed stakes at Fairgrounds. I mean, to me, he probably didn't run the same level of race that he had in his prior 2 or 3 starts. So I don't know that I totally buy that fig. I think it's a little too dressed up, especially when you get 3 horses that all finished ahead of each other, and 2 of them would have had to improve significantly to kind of run that fig. I think it's more likely that 2 Emmys went backwards as opposed to Halo again and 40 under taking pretty significant steps forward.
Mark, you had mentioned that you're using optics for this track, right?
No, it's Turfway.
I was for Turfway. I can pull up optics for here if you're interested.
No. I thought you were talking this track. I got confused. I'm sorry. I apologize. Jay, I apologize for interrupting.
Let me take a look at chat here. Nick Feldman coming in saying Santon, best opinion of the day. He loved his last race at Del Mar. He was in the 14 hole and almost won it, a wire-to-wire winner. So,
he almost chased down the wire-to-wire winner.
Yeah,
he was flying.
On a wire-to-wire winner. Yep.
Yeah, that's a great take for sure. I totally agree.
It is a very, very good take. Yeah.
Still a very odd comment though, because Nick's email is markk@gmail. So I don't know what that
means. No, Nick's a good guy. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. He's always got some nice takes there. Yeah, Jay's saying, how about the defending champ in the 11th, Captivating Moon at 20-1? So he's agreeing with you, Brian. He's a big fan of Captivating Moon here at a long price. Ended up winning this at 43-1 last time out, and or last year on the yielding track. So he's looking that way. Ryan Hauer chiming in. He thinks that you're going to get a price in this race. And Jay, once again, he thinks Santon improved in every race, coming off a bullet and 12-1 also. Race seems wide open. Honestly, the thing that really popped out to me about Santon, like, what the fuck is this work? Do you see this? 57-2 going 5 furlongs on the turf? Like, that can't be right? Like, someone had to have mistimed that. Like, that's insane. But I mean, these are the types of horses that Caleb hates. Lightly raced horses coming into graded stakes races. So
Well, I like this horse. He's not a last out maiden breaker. I mean, he's definitely proven.
yeah, no, I was pretty interested in this horse. I didn't know about the run style necessarily. Um,
The other thing, if you're, sorry, Josh.
I mean, I was gonna say that you guys already talked my two horses that you guys just absolutely hate. I kind of didn't think to look outside of the two favorites in this race, which was two Emmys and Largent. Two Emmys is basically, I'm just going back to the run style. I mean, two Emmys is going to get the lead, and speed seems to hold at Fairgrounds, both on the turf course and on the dirt. Yeah, I guess I'm basically going back to the well at a short price once again. After this horse basically ran the same race last time and came up a bit short, but I mean, this horse is pretty consistent as far as speed figures are concerned, and even that effort last out makes him a contender in this spot. So I really did like two Emmys in this spot. Um, I'm gonna make an excuse for Largent's last out and just say, hey, the horse has been off for a year and needed a run out there. And I mean, if we want to be honest, I mean, Largent's probably the classiest horse in this field, right? The horse is run against the best that's out there, and ended up is going to came off basically a year layoff, and I'm just going to give him an excuse. Hey, he was just stretching his legs out that last time, and I see a huge improvement coming here for Largent here. And if Largent runs his race, I don't think anyone beats him. So I'm kind of going to 1-2 punch here with the on the pace and off the pace horse in the 11 and the 10. I hate taking the two short prices, but I think those are your two most likely winners. Although, to be fair, you guys have definitely made a really compelling case for this three. So I think I'm gonna have to find a way to make sure that if I do play this sequence, that I get this three on my tickets, because I think, lightly raced horse. This is kind of the new shooter coming in here. Almost won that Hollywood Derby, and you're gonna get a good price on it. So, but I don't know. I'm actually kind of surprised that nobody else really liked Largent. I mean, Caleb hates Largent just because he saw this 7-2 here, and he's automatically tossed the horse. So I know why Caleb doesn't like him. But Mark, I mean,
Well, Mark
as
was
the
losing.
defensively.
I actually don't think I used Largent. Horse was off for a year, came back. I mean, maybe they were just stretching their legs, but God, he took all the money last out and got beat by a pretty suspect field.
Well, of course he took all the money. He went from the Pegasus to a grade 3, right? He's going to take the money. That's the classiest horse.
And Pletcher's Barn was winning at like 116% at Gulfstream, and this horse still ran a total stinker. So I'm not.
Yeah. And that's my thing. It's like there's way too many question marks, and he kind of seemed to be tailing off. I mean, he's a 6-year-old. Age is going to catch up with him eventually. I just wonder if his best days are sort of behind him. I realize there's no monsters in here unless the 3 ends up taking another major step forward. But to me, Largent just, I don't know. It's not the kind of horse that I really love. Just there's a lot of question marks recently. So
all right, so I'm going to back up Josh here because Largent was my second choice in this race behind my 8. And the last out, you can excuse for not only being off for a whole year. That's a mile. The horse prefers longer. That goes back to his more versatile, preferred distance. And I think Largent's probably the most versatile horse in this field. If you look at what this horse is won with on time form, if the race is red, the race is blue, that horse can get into the money. So he doesn't need help. This is a horse that you can handicap is going to run his race and doesn't have to have 5 variables to affect like Captivating Moon does for me. So that's why I like pairing Largent with Captivating Moon, because this horse can do it by himself.
All right, let me take a quick look at chat here. Looks like Ryan Howard says he doesn't think Largent into Emmy's post position helps him at all. The outside is not where you want to be at Fairgrounds, in my opinion. Caleb, as somebody who's played basically Fairgrounds exclusively for the past month, do you agree with that?
At a mile and an eighth, I'm not sure. You know, they don't run many races that configuration, and we've been off the turf a lot this past spring. But you know, in general, I wouldn't say it's a terrible place to be, really, especially for a horse like 2 Emmys who has enough speed to, you know, probably get the lead if he's intent on it, and if not, I mean, he should be no worse than second or third sitting in the 2 path or just off the hip. For Largent, I do think it's a bit more of a problem just because he probably doesn't get the lead and he kind of wants to be mid pack, and there's about 5 other horses that are going to be, you know, better drawn that want that same spot. So for him, I do think it could be a problem.
All right, looks like they're off at Turfway here. Yep, they're off at Turfway here.
I pressed the 9 pretty hard in most of my bets.
I had the 4, the 5, and the 9, but I'm dead in everything. So
I have the 1, 5, 6, 9, but I got the 9 by far the most.
I liked the 8 at a big price.
I like the 8 as well.
Oh shit!
But
what was that?
That was thunder.
That was thunder. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
wow.
there goes the Fairgrounds. We're gonna be off the turf on Saturday.
Or it makes Captivating Moon even better because it's gonna be yielding.
If I get boomed by fucking Flapjack.
Oh god.
Oh, Caleb.
His 9's flying, but he's gonna get a hot dog.
Flapjack.
It's all right, dude. Maybe the hot dog helps him. Maybe it's a Costco hot dog.
We're not going to get there, Mark.
You sure?
Which one's Flapjack? The 6 or the 7?
7.
Yeah, we're not getting there, Mark.
Oh, it looks like Flapjack got there.
I did use a little Flapjack, Brian.
6 definitely got the right bob, but I don't.
I was talking about the 8 though at 17-1.
Oh
yeah.
Well, Mark was only talking about Flapjack because, as we know, it was not a chase horse. It was a mark horse all along. Flapjack was a mark horse.
That's okay. So, I had both winners for $800, so it's fine.
Brian Jared Bush, horse player, BD horse player, actually stands for JB horse player.
It didn't matter who won. I had it.
It's fine, Turfway. I don't want to see the photo. I'm much rather look at the.
That's a nice stall.
Yeah,
we're that guy taking a piss in the corner.
We gotta send a message over to Caitlin. We gotta clean this up. Going back to chat here, we got a couple more comments here on the Fairground Stakes.
What up, Rex?
Yeah, it looks Rex in here saying what's up, guys.
Oh, I think the 7
Rex. Ryan Howard again. He's looking to play a couple exactas and try. He thinks there's a good double opportunity going into the next race. I think Ryan is looking for a price in here. And PDT, the provider of my bourbon for the night. Chad coming to take 2 Emmys lunch money, payback for domestic spending. Stephen Fox saying, okay, single Largent. Got it.
There you go.
Yes, Stephen eating the chalk. Shocker.
Is that a fat joke? I feel like that's a fat joke.
Oh, man.
All right, microwave the chalk.
Microwave the chalk. Damn,
if only the chalk is Dino Nuggets.
Man, I could tell you stories about me and Dino Nuggets way back. So
Well, it looks like Flapjack got the photo.
Yeah. Ryan asking if anyone won their Super Bowl squares. I actually did it. I won $200 on our squares. I kind of wish I would have decided on the flat payout instead of the halftime and full-time payout because I only got one.
I feel a little robbed by Josh's wife who picked my squares. She did not do a good job of picking.
Dude, did you see Foxhound? Foxhound had 4 squares. So we did a 50 square pool. And one of the guys in our Discord had 4 squares with the Rams 7 and 0. And he got blanked. And he's just like, he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that he literally had like half the squares covered with 7 and 0. And he didn't get it.
I think I had the other half of 0 and 7 because I had 0, 7 and like 1 and 7 or whatever. What was it, 4 and 7 or something? I can't remember. But I had some ones that looked promising going in, but you know.
Are you guys talking about that foosball again?
And the worst part is that Mark already told my wife that he's going to buy her a beer, and so she actually requested Hetty Topper be mailed over, Mark. So
I can mail her some Hetty. We can make that happen. That's easy.
Good luck. Rex saying he feels sorry for Mattress Mac. $18 million in lost bets this year. Yeah, but he probably made it up in mattress sales. So good on him there.
Wasn't his
The
bet always
Rachel,
just a hedge on mattress sales?
Yes,
I think
Yeah.
so.
I bought my mattress from Mattress Mac.
No, you didn't. Shut up.
Right from him directly.
You two are
You
like
called him up. You called him up. You actually dialed into stall 1 at Claiborne Farms and it was like, "Hey, run happy, hook me up with the mattress."
That's it. You know what I mean? And then he was on our weekly Discord call. You might have not been there. It was with the Hammer and Mattress Mac.
All right. The Rachel Alexandra, grade 2, going to mile and 16 for 3-year-old fillies. Road to the Kentucky Oaks. Your morning line favorite here is going to be Hidden Connection at 3-1, the 11 horse. I wasn't entirely sure what to do with this horse in the spot. I was a pretty big fan of this horse going into the juvenile fillies. Obviously, Echo Zulu just romped in that race. So maybe you throw that race out. I'm actually gonna go with the Doug O'Neill horse on the stretch out here. Awake at Midnight is gonna be my top choice. Speed kills, and 7 furlong speed stretching out to a mile and 16th. You got Nyquist on top. You got Union Rags on the bottom. So I don't think the distance is going to be a problem for this horse. So I think Awake at Midnight is going to be my top pick in this spot. I think this horse is probably going to grab the lead here, and I'm going to bet the horses that get the lead on the dirt here at Fairgrounds. So the 9 Awake at Midnight is going to be my top choice. I was a little interested in the 7 Turner Loose. I don't know what this horse is going to do on the dirt. I always have a question on these speed horses switching surfaces, whether or not they're going to take to that surface and actually show speed. I think if Turner Loose does show speed, I think you do get, and I see Brian. All right, he's got the 3 cherries.
I'm just
And
too
this
fat
is a
to see
3-cherry
third
horse
cherry.
here. The only question is whether or not a cherry on the grass moves to a cherry on the dirt. I'm not sure. But the 7 and the 9 are kind of my top picks. I didn't really know what to do with the 11. If the 11 takes some money, this is, I think, going to be a fade for me. And I'll take my shots with the 9 and the 7 in this spot. Caleb, what do you think here?
Yeah, a show of hands for everyone that's surprised that Josh took an E7 and E8 in the dirt race. I don't really like either of those, and I don't like the favorite at all. Hidden Connection, kind of went into that Breeders' Cup race as like, all right, I mean, who have you beaten? Basically nobody, but let's see how you stack up against legitimate competition, and she did nothing. I don't care that she got trounced by Echo Zulu because everybody gets trounced by Echo Zulu, but she got trounced by Tarabi. I don't know who the fuck that is. I mean, that's a horse that I think is like a turf horse maybe. And like Juju's map is like, okay, fine, but that was a bad race. This horse now gets a bad post, isn't going to get the lead, and I just don't like this horse as the favorite. The horse I actually ended up on here was the number 4 Dream Lith, and I feel disgusting saying that because it's the Adora horse in the graded stakes. And I just feel like they fail to show up more than any other trained horses. But this horse is consistent. I mean, it ran an absolute screamer at Saratoga on her debut. Came back out of that and really cost me a lot of money in the spin away when I needed her for a couple of tickets. But then, went back in the, Alcibiades, didn't do all that poorly, kind of ran an even race, and then ran well in the Goldenrod. I think she's just a horse that's moving forward. I do think there's enough speed in here to keep him honest up front. I mean, I think the 1, Lacrete, I think that, the number, not the 6, excuse me, the 7, Turner Loose, Josh's horse. I mean, the number 9 on the stretch out, definitely. And even 11, Hidden Connection, is a horse that likes to be forward. And it doesn't like Dream Lith as some one-run closer either. So I think that she makes sense in here. I think she's going the right way. And despite the notion that Fairgrounds dirt is like dead speed all the time, I've played it more than this year than I ever have before. And that largely holds true in the sprints. But the routes have been surprisingly fair. It's been very fair on the routes. You can come from off the pace. I mean, the Louisiana or Lecomte winner a couple of weeks ago was, not even in the screen turning for home, and he, flies in the stretch and nails the winner at the wires. So, yeah, I mean, I think that, I'm not too worried about the run style here. I like Dreamlift. There's a few others that I have an interest in, but I'm curious to see where Mark and Brian ended up first.
So, Caleb, are you saying the grounds are fair at a route?
Get out. But yes.
Yeah, so considering Caleb talked about one of my horses, the other horse I was interested in here was Divine Huntress, the 5. I like Dreamlith.
Look at that. And then Nick Feldman says the exact same thing. I'm telling you, they're the same person.
I think Nick said first. So if anything.
Oh, did he?
All right.
Damn it.
All right, Mark, shut up. All right.
Yeah.
So Nick Feldman says, I'm intrigued by the 5 Divine Huntress. Second time in the motion barn, and now gets Jose Ortiz. Brisnet speed figures fit here. Only its 4th overall race, should be in the catbird seat. All right. So the only reason that we know that this is not Mark is because he said the word Brisnet. That's really the only reason why we know that this is not Mark.
See, Nick Feldman and I are different people.
He would have changed that. This horse is stellar.
You and Nick Feldman are different people, like me and Papa Knight are different people. All right. Continue, Mark.
No, for all the reasons Nick Feldman brought up, I do like the 5 Divine Huntress. You've been getting better every race. She absolutely trounced a field, and I realize it's at Parks, and it's middle of January Parks, which is the dregs of racing. But she seems to be really talented. Moving forward, Graham Motion sees fit to ship her down here for this, and Jose Ortiz, jumps up aboard. So she has a win at the distance, which some of the others in here do not have, or a lot of the others in here do not have, I should say. And I think she makes a lot of sense here. And you'll probably get, that morning line. So, at 6-1, I really, really like her in here.
Road Warrior also likes the 5.
Yeah, so are Road Warrior and I the same person?
No.
I mean, you guys are both from New York, so yes.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, but he likes a different track in New York that I like.
Ryan Howard
That's not something you'll have to worry about, Josh.
Ryan Howard pointing out that Jared Bush was on Papo's show.
Sure was. That was great.
That
Steven
was must see YouTube.
Saying too many alts in this chat. Jared Bush, Caleb hasn't been quiet. So,
Brian, what did you come up with? I'm really curious to see kind of which off the wall horse you ended up on.
Off the wall horse, come on, man. Josh talked about the one horse that I liked a little bit, and that was the 7 Turner Loose, and finally gets to dirt. I thought it was interesting. This horse has been at turf, and she's been okay. Obviously the Breeders' Cup Juvenile filly turf was too much, right? But the fact they're coming to dirt now at 12-1 surprises me a little bit, but it's Brad Cox and Florent. So who am I supposed to question that? I will use the 7 come Saturday, but the horse I like the most is the 2 North County. I think this is standard Walsh bringing a horse along kind of thing that you see. He started off in a modest level. He won. He's protected the horse all the way through. Went to allowance and won. Went to stakes and won at Fairgrounds, and now steps up into graded company at Fairgrounds. A track this horse has already ran over. So I really like that move. Adam Bashiza at Fairgrounds is a very fair jock. He's on a normal Fairgrounds day, he gets his fair share of winners. So on a big day, he usually has 1 or 2 races where he'll surprise and get a price home. And this is the kind of race I think the 2 can be a benefactor for. Only for those reasons. It's one of those things. If you watch Walsh, a lot of times there's logical progressions with his horses, but he protects them all the way through, and he's done the same thing with this filly. So I'm curious to see how this horse runs come Saturday. May not win, but I think this filly is going to set up to have a great 3-year-old year.
The Queen of Optics herself, Emily, is saying that Divine Huntress, very impressive races, visually better, even the debut, than her numbers.
Yeah, she was very much in hand that last race and won by 12. So I know Caleb kind of says that they run the figure that they run, but I do think that a horse really in hand could have run faster. So, yeah, agreed. And that last race was extremely visually impressive.
But again, it's one of those things where the class change for that 5 is huge, right? Probably the biggest
totally.
jump up
Yeah,
here.
it's an optional
And-
50 at Parks to a graded race with actual
Right.
class in it. Yeah, totally.
And how many times have we seen a park shipper that looks great at parks come down to Gulfstream or Fairgrounds and just stutters out because it's just too steep?
Yeah.
I mean, 6-1 in the morning line. If that horse is 10-1 come Saturday, I'd be all for it. But at that morning line, I can't talk about that horse.
So, hey, Josh, could you highlight Nick Feldman's from a little bit back on Lacrete, the one?
Oh, sorry, I said Jared Bush again.
No,
This one?
further back.
No?
further
Lacrete, my
back.
bad.
I thought
Yeah,
Lacrete
that one.
was interesting.
Yeah, I thought Lacrete was actually really interesting, and that's why I wanted to highlight that. A horse that gets put away and then re-rallies, I think that's a good thing. It's a little bit of a, as someone would say, a Z pattern. And no, I think that's a real good thing. I like horses that like to win. Lacrete is a horse that seems to like to win. So I actually thought that was fairly interesting, and I think it's horses that find a way to win against adverse odds. To me, that's something that moves a horse up in my books. They have heart. They can pass horses. They're competitive. Those types of things that you look for.
I like that horse in here. I mean, Asmussen tends to get these 3-year-old fillies that just come right along, and I think this is another live one. Looks like he has in his hands. And with the inside draw on Rosario, I'm thinking this horse might get the lead here, and could be tough. I mean, needs to improve, but certainly could.
Well, everybody in this field has to improve to win, right? There's no way coming in that just towers over this field.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on if you believe the figure that Awake at Midnight ran last out at the Santa Anita, I mean, she does. If she repeats that, she probably does win. But I don't know that I totally buy into that, or that maybe it's a fine fig. I don't know that I think she's likely to run it back on the stretch out here, but we'll see.
Hey, do you remember the last time Mario shipped to Fairgrounds for anybody?
Mario specifically, or Doug O'Neill?
Mario is going to ride for Doug.
I don't.
Yeah, but
recall.
isn't he? He's riding someone in the next race, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's just one of those things. It was one of those jockey moves that caught me off because you're not used to seeing Mario at Fairgrounds.
Yeah,
it seems like he's getting more of the quality of O'Neill mounts again. There was a period, obviously, 10 years ago, he was getting all the, or I don't even know if it was 10 years ago. What was it when they had the Derby horse? Probably 10 years ago now. He was getting all the top O'Neill mounts. Then there was a period in time where he started getting less of them. I don't know, they had a falling out, and now he seems to be getting all those top O'Neill mounts again. So yeah, I mean, I think if you're that kind of jock, you're going to travel. You kind of have to.
So, and that kind of tells you that Doug at least thinks this horse is fair, right? Mario's been on the horse in 3 lifetime starts, and he's bringing him out for this horse.
I mean, I think he's bringing him out for his horse in the Risen Star. I mean, this was
that's fair. Yeah,
space on the bus kind of a horse. It's I mean, it's a graded stake, so maybe it's not a space on the bus kind of horse, but I don't think it's the reason they ship or travel.
I mean, the horse ran second in the grade 3, then the second in the grade 2, so it's not like, it's just like a throwaway horse that, he probably saw an opportunity and was like, hey, let's see what happens if we stretch this horse out. Road Warrior.
Litter Road Warrior.
Thanks for stopping by as usual. Nick Feldman just says Nyquist, and I mean, I really don't think anything else has to be said, right? But,
I like NyQuil. The 7's also Nyquist, so I mean, which one is he talking about? Because Turner Loose, Brad Cox, come on now.
All right, the Risen Star, the big one. Mile on the 8th here. Caleb, I know you got your Horse Racing Nation video that you're going to be coming out with this week. So why don't you give the people a little preview? What are you liking here?
Yeah, so I'm going to be consistent because I've been beating the drum that the Kentucky Jockey Club stakes at Churchill was an extremely deep and productive race. I said it when I picked Classic Causeway last weekend to win the Sam F. Davis that you guys said, no, he's a bad favorite. Don't pick him. Well, he won. And, that just is the third winner out of that race to come out and win a Derby prep. I mean, a relatively major Derby prep, at least that's what we've seen so far. I mean, White Abario won the Holy Bull. He was third that race. And then Call Me Midnight was like 6th or 7th in that race. And he came back to win the Lecomte about a month ago. I think that's a super deep, impressive field. And Smile Happy, easily won that race by 3 lengths and change. I think this is just tons the horse to beat here. I'd be excited to get 7-2. Pretty much, 2 wins at a mile and a 16, so I'm not worried about a mile and an eighth whatsoever. The horse has a pretty tractable run style, can come from off the pace, and this is by far the horse I'm going to build everything around. Probably going to be a single on most of my tickets. I don't think 7-2 is very realistic. Yeah, Nick Feldman said the same thing. He's like 10-1 in your Derby futures. So if you think you're going to get 7-2 on him here, I don't know if that's likely. But I think he's a deserving favorite and by far the horse to beat in here.
But in all fairness, the Papa Cap and Epicenter are going to take money, right? I mean, this might be the best price you get on this horse.
Yeah, I mean, Papa Cap will take money. Epicenter will take money. I think Slow Down Andy will take money off that Los Al race. Zandon's going to take money. So it's not a non-competitive field because it isn't like Smile Happy lays over this field based on figures. But I think based on the productivity of that race and the anticipated improvement, from November to February now as a 3-year-old, I think he's going to improve enough to be, a solid bet at 2-1.
Would you? Oh, White Barrio. I saw it now. I was trying to figure out what Josh had underlined there.
Oh yeah, I just underlined the winners. I mean, do I really need to say anything else?
I just changed my cherry background, and then you're going to go with cherries now.
Change it back. We may as well leave it up.
Yeah, you might as well just keep it on there. Yeah, I mean, I think Epicenter is poised to win this race. I think he's gonna. I mean, he should have won the last race, right? He went off at a real short price. He got nipped at the wire by Call Me Midnight. But I'm going back to the well, going back to the Epicenter well here. E8, get the lead, and just don't look back here. So yeah, I'm gonna put all my eggs. I think I'm gonna put all my eggs in the Epicenter basket. I really didn't look at any other horse in the spot.
Really?
Yeah, I was a little interested by the 10 here. Slow Down Andy shipping in for Doug O'Neill. But the thing is that the horse is posted outside here at Los Al, or at least not inside, and so I don't know. I think that last race wasn't like those Los Al figs are always really inflated, especially on Brisnet. So I can't really trust that fig that much. I mean, yeah, the 8 Smile Happy makes a ton of sense, but I think I agree with you, Caleb. I think this horse is going to be 6-5, 7-5 in this spot, not 7-2. And I think if I get anywhere near, 3-1 or better on Epicenter, that's where all my money's going.
But before we came on, I had said Epicenter might be a cold single from there, but I look over to my notes on my left and in Microsoft Word in my outline, and I have, if Slow Down Andy presses with Papa Cap, what's Epicenter going to do? That was the question I have that I have not figured out yet on Thursday. And it might be one of those things where I need to see how the track plays to answer that question. So with that question in mind, my next line was Corey. And in all fairness, I'm the first person to bash Corey when he rides horribly at Gulfstream Park or Keeneland or Churchill or Fairgrounds, or you get the drift here.
Indiana Grand.
But this horse is a very good horse. And the fact that Kenny McPeak left Corey aboard, Kenny's a hell of a horseman. So I'm not going to question Kenny. And he obviously thinks he has something here. This horse did beat, as Josh has right there, White Barrio. So I agree with Caleb on a lot. But, for me, it's going to depend on how the track plays. Because if speed's carrying on Saturday, then I'm going to have a hard time passing up Epicenter or Papa Cap. And what will be my deciding factor might be what the tote board says between the two of them. I think Slow Down Andy is going to press. Papa Cap on the inside is going to save ground. So there's a lot of questions I have as far as the pace goes that I just can't answer today.
So you really like the fact that Kenny kept Corey aboard the same way that Kenny kept Robbie Alvarado aboard?
Yeah, but the only thing Corey's going to beat is a $10,000 clamor. Oh,
You're not helping yourself out here.
no, it's one of those things where, I think I said it last or 2 weeks ago when we were talking. You have a 122-pound jockey on a 1,400-pound horse. This horse doesn't need all that much, and if there is any pace in front of the 8, that Smile Happy's going to sit second flight, right? So, and there's going to be no traffic. There's going to be no decision for Corey to make. It's going to be tilt out, kick out, and go.
Okay, I'm just saying there's 4 of us here, and only one of us has gotten an angry phone call.
Correct. And it was me. But I didn't field the angry phone call directly. It was a third-party angry phone call, so it's completely different. But see, and ever since that that phone call happened, when I have a chance to take Corey, I'm singing his praise. I'm not going to talk about the fact that his girlfriend may have stood up on a horse today and cost the horse a placing, but we won't talk about that today.
Mark, what are you thinking here?
You guys have all talked some of the other horses I liked, so let's hop to the 7 Zandon. I thought this horse was kind of interesting. I realized that Chad is shipping a horse to Louisiana. It's probably not an A-tier Chad, but he's also got a couple others he's shipping down here, and I don't know. Did they decide to ship this one down with the rest? I don't know. Is he good enough? I don't really know, but I know that his Remsen was pretty darn decent. And the figures out of that Remsen fit with this field. He's been off a little bit, has every right to improve here. Seems like the kind of horse who, this is one of those horses. It's going to go off at 9-2, and you're going to get, Chad and Jose, and everybody's going to go, oh, geez, they let Chad and Jose go at 9-2, and the horse, walks away and wins it. So he may be up against it a little bit run style wise. I don't know how forwardly placed he wants to be, and again, this is a fairly speed favoring track in general, but I thought he was fairly interesting here for connections that everybody knows, and a horse that makes some sense.
All right, we got. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
No, you're good. You're going to talk Turfway. We can circle back.
Yeah, I was going to say we got about 2 minutes to post here at Turfway. So, Mark, what was the horse? There's a horse here that you really liked, right?
Yeah, I like the 3.
13-1 right now.
At Turfway?
Yeah, 13-1 right now.
Yeah, 13-1 on Corrales.
I'm so glad you didn't say my horse.
I am singled to the Corrales horse and everything, so.
Are you still live in anything?
Yeah.
Defensively, he's alive.
Doubles and pick 3s.
Okay.
I thought the 13 year was interesting at Turfway. I'm not live to anything because Flapjack moved me. But I feel like this 5-1 is going to tick down to like 3-1 out of the gate. But at 5-1, I'll bet this 13.
Yeah, I like the 13 as well. I had the 2, the 5, and the 13 here. I thought they made the most sense, but I'm going to use this 3 now.
I think Cardiac Kid, the 5 at 9-2 is a price I could get down on.
Good bet. I had 5-13 in my now dead pick 5, and they're pounding this too. I guess I see it off the barn change. He ran 2 good races, but it still took him 18 tries to break his maiden. That's not a horse I want to bet at 6-5.
That's the kind of horse that runs on a Thursday night track, though. And the 1's 1 for 12. The 3's 1 for 14. This is what you get in the finale at Turfway, right?
Kind of.
All right. I
didn't look at the conditions. This must be non-winners or 2 lifetime, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah. All right. They're walking to the gate. I'm going to hit up chat here real quick with a couple of comments we got here.
Jay,
yeah.
I like your 3 and your 4.
Jay's on a 3 and the 4 here. He's got a couple win bets. Nick Feldman saying that Trafalgar getting blinkers 2 for 2 except for his maiden second place at Classic Causeway. Feels like last out they might have seen something. He could really improve with those blinkers. We didn't really talk about the 3 at all.
I'll be forced to pick a long shot in this race for tomorrow's video, and he's one I tried to consider, but both of his wins, he just had everything his own way. In his maiden score, he got to close into a really fast pace, and then in his optional claiming, score at Fairgrounds, he got to sit right on top of a very slow pace. Yeah, and then last out, he kind of got just an average trip, and he didn't totally trip out, and he sort of just ran evenly and was a distant fourth. Maybe the blinkers on helps because there's not much, ton of speed in here, but 10-1, take your shot. But I tried to like him, and I just ultimately couldn't.
I see
Are they gonna try to go
I see
with the
two
blinks,
baby
you
Z patterns there.
Yeah,
I see one.
And there's a huge improvement from the LeCompte, though, right? I mean, if any horse is going to bounce back to reality, it'd be that horse. I mean, what kind of price would you need there to actually play that horse?
Trafalgar?
I don't think I'm playing to win. I mean, unless you're going to give me 30-1 or something crazy. I think he's very usable underneath, but I don't think he can win.
Jimmy Two Eyes says that the 10 beat Messier.
Oh, and they're off.
Yeah, we should talk about that 10, considering Messier came back to run 127 on time form and win the Santa Anita race, the stakes, the prep.
I just want to talk about the horse because
lengths.
his name's Andy, and we know Andy, and the goat slows down a lot. So shout out Andy Villanueva, wherever you are, somewhere in Texas.
Handicapping.
You're actually getting 5-1 in this 13. That's a good price. The 5 took some late money, which was probably to be expected.
Yeah.
Where's this Corrales horse at, Mark?
I don't think he's broken yet.
I thought the Corrales bet thing ended like a month ago.
I mean, yeah, but we're all dumb, or at least I am, and I keep
I'm very
burning
dumb.
money on it.
I'm very, very
And
dumb.
according to Brisnet, it's a hot jockey in the last 7 days. 9 wins from 25 starts.
It's a hot pace.
Here comes.
The middle move.
Well, this 13 clearly can't win. Going head and head with this 10.
The 2's flying. Who liked the 2?
I mean, I did, but the
it's-
2's also like 9-5 or 8-5.
Well, the three is flying as well, but he's got way too much to do, I think.
Yeah, he gave the 2 a 9 length head start.
Yeah, it seems like once you hit the top of the stretch at Turfway, it's been tough to make up any more ground beyond that. Like you kind of make your move in the turn, and after that, it's been tough to really.
Come on, Carlos, get there. Get there. Come on.
Come on, 2. Come on, 2.
Yeah, you
on,
two's
2.
good. Yeah.
I didn't bet it, Mark. I just couldn't let you win again.
Thanks, buddy.
No, I used the 3 defensively, but I used the 2 offensively. I love you.
What did that 2-3 exacta pay?
$8.
No, it didn't pay $8.
33.
33 for 2. Maybe that was worth it.
Well, that 3 getting up would have been nice.
Yeah, the 3 ended up taking a little bit more late money. Went down to 9-1, but was 4-1 in the book. So surprised it was pretty dead on the board there. But that closes the book on Turfway. Yeah, let's talk about this 10. Like I said, I was really interested in this 10. Outside of Epicenter, I thought this horse made a lot of sense. But I never know what to do with these low sal figs. But I think you bring up a good point, Caleb. I mean, Messier came back and really flattered this horse, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did, and it's tough because on one hand, that figure he ran last out is huge. Slow down, Andy. I mean, it's way bigger than anything he's run before. I don't think it's a bad figure, especially when Messier came back to just improve by another 15 points. I'm just skeptical he can repeat it, I guess is more of my take there. I think it's much more likely he goes backwards than he goes forwards. So for that reason, I wasn't crazy about slow down Andy. I mean, plus, Messier doesn't seem to like low sal. Both of his losses have come, or maybe all 3. I don't remember his record, but I know his losses have come at low sal. But anytime he runs at Santa Anita or Del Mar, I mean, he's a different horse. So I think that slow down Andy beat Messier over a track Messier might not like. People are going to see that and realize that how good Messier did last week or 2 weeks ago, and I think slow down Andy is going to take a beating at the window. And that's not a horse I want to bet at a short price, just because I'd like to see him repeat it, and I'd rather be 1 race late getting onto him than 1 race too early.
He also beat Barossa.
Yeah, I mean that
plays. Anybody give any thoughts to the Pletcher there at 10-1?
I didn't. This is the kind of Pletcher that can beat me 100 times out of 100.
Right. I mean, the horse should have to improve a ton, right?
I don't know why this horse is even here, truthfully.
Room in the van.
Yeah, we can just get one more in there. Like, was like Noah's Ark? They have to go 2x2 or what?
I don't understand. Is that a boat?
Anyone give a thought to this 4-horse? To me, like if I was looking for a price, I don't see one in this race. Truthfully, I don't. But I mean, this 4 kind of feels like the wild card. I mean, it's obviously very strong connections. The horse is undefeated, but both of those came at Turfway, and he's been coming from pretty far off the pace in those starts. Did anyone give a look to that horse? Like him at all?
I did. I saw the name and I thought that was a hell of a Josh horse, but I don't know. I know that a couple of you guys already say that if they can run on synth, they can sort of run on anything. That sort of logic that synth moves horses up. Horse needs to improve, but it's Flo Cox. And I mean, it looks like Flo chose to ride this horse over riding the Pletcher. So, yeah, maybe the horse is a little bit, a little bit interesting.
Oh, do you think he had choice, or Todd called Saez and said, "Hey, get on the 6"?
Well, I mean, he has to fly Saez in. I mean, it's like Saez has a couple other mounts. That maybe
He does. He's on like every Pletcher horse on Saturday.
Isn't he on Largent?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's on a few.
Yeah.
I think Saez has first call for Todd now, I think.
Doesn't Todd, I could be mistaken, but doesn't Todd have some, Red Warrior already left too, damn it, he would probably know this. But isn't Pletcher like crazy good when shipping to Fairgrounds? Like some like absurd stat.
I can tell you.
I'm sure Mark can look it up.
I mean, maybe it was only in stakes or something, but I feel like I remember him winning like half of the recent Louisiana like prep races. It may not be universally Fairground shippers, but I thought there was some maybe filtered down stat where he was, some stupid high percent.
Mark is looking.
I'm getting there.
Bum, bum, bum,
He's
bum,
he's
bum,
19% in the past 5 years shipping. Do you want just in stakes races?
Yeah, just for curiosity.
Curiosity killed the cat, Caleb.
Yep. And the definition of insanity is picking the same thing, expecting a different result as you go with 2 Emmys and Epicenter.
That's true.
I only see 18 races for Pletcher at Fairgrounds since 2016. That can't be right. I gotta be missing something.
You know how
Caleb,
go ahead,
he's 1 for 12 with stakes or in stakes races at the Fairgrounds.
Okay, I must be mistaken. I guess I'm just thinking of like the year he had Colonel Liam and a few other horses show up that were pretty strong.
look, so guys, I want you guys.
The only winner is Colonel Liam.
Yeah.
Hey, what about Noble Indy?
It was probably not a graded stakes race.
That was a grade 2 in 2018.
Look at Nick Feldman. That winner was probably Colonel Liam.
It really
There you
is.
go.
Yep, the two of them.
Except for Noble Indy was 3rd.
So Caleb,
not on March 24th, 2018.
that was 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
I see February 17th of 2018 where he finished 3rd.
Look at March 24th of 2018 where he won.
Yeah, Noble Indy did have a win. I just pulled it up.
Not
Why are
sure
you going
you're
back
looking at.
that far though?
I
thought you were only going back 2 years.
I ended up going back 5
I'm
years.
sure this is really great video content.
I went back 5, so.
Yeah,
And I only put in graded stakes. So.
Yeah. But I did have a comment I wanted to make because I just thought about this. And Caleb, you're probably the only one who's gonna be able to go through with this because I expect Brian and Mark to die much before I do. But when I die, I want you to go up to my gravestone and I just want you to etch in an E and an 8. All right.
And the McDonald's logo.
And a McDonald's logo, yes, that would help as well. So that was what I had for lunch today. Is McDonald's.
Yeah,
so
he bet like he lived, cheap and fast.
Until McDonald's tells you to pull ahead and wait 7 minutes.
No, dude, the play now is you got to get the app. You get the app, you show up, you skip the freaking long ass drive-through line that they have now, and you just order while you're sitting there in the pickup line, and it's out to you before you would have gotten it in the drive-through. Life tips. Um,
My doctor tells me I'm morbidly obese, and I've not gotten the McDonald's app yet.
but I think that's gonna do it for us. Mark, what do you got going on this weekend besides skiing? Are you
Uh,
still skiing?
I am skiing. It is President's Weekend, so I will be very, very, very busy skiing. But I will probably try to hop on a couple things and be Keeneland qualifying. I'd like to get into the G1 gamble.
Brian.
I've got some ski lessons this weekend in upstate New York. Looking excited for it. I've requested
Actually, because I don't instruct in upstate New York, so you won't be stuck with me. It'll be great.
Vermont or something, whatever.
It's all the same.
It really is. No, I've got nothing planned. I might watch a race. We'll see. Be honest,
Caleb.
there's nothing that's jumping off the page. I think Fairgrounds might have the best card of the weekend.
Cool. Caleb, what about you?
Yeah, I'll be betting tomorrow. I've been a busy week and I earned this, so I'll be betting tomorrow. And then the Fairgrounds on Saturday seems like the play. I do have to plug some stable duel content for Sam Houston tomorrow, and then for Santa Anita on Saturday. So I'll probably play a little bit there just because I have to take a look anyway. There are a couple of big contests there, which will probably have some overlays. So I'll be looking at those two for the most part, and then there's racing on Monday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
For President's Day, yeah.
And Fairgrounds, I think, too.
Yeah, so I'll be looking at probably mostly Fairgrounds, maybe try to get in the Keeneland qualifier if I have time.
Ryan Howard says is asking me to meet him in Vegas. Ryan, you give me the date, and there's actually probably a good chance that I'll be there because I do go often. I think I'm going for Lady Gaga and end of April. So looks like the Turfway Pick 6 was hit for 20 cents, 35K. Congrats to whoever had that one. Jay says New York and Santa Anita on Monday.
Oh, nice.
Oh, damn. Ryan's going out to Vegas this weekend. Damn.
You
should have, Brian, you should have came out for NHC, man. Brian, what were you going to say?
I said you can still catch a flight.
That's true. Well, not for the next couple hours and with the snow and everything, but
yeah.
Nick Feldman saying concert tour at Oaklawn Inland Allowance this weekend. So I'll probably mostly be playing Fairgrounds. I've seemed to be doing okay at Fairgrounds, and just basically making money there and then giving it away to Sam Houston and Turfway at night. So, why ruin a good thing? So I'll probably try that for Saturday as well, and then roll that into Hong Kong. I believe. Crap! I forgot if it was Nick. Maybe it wasn't Nick. I know one of our guys was doing some Twitch streaming actually for Hong Kong, so we'll be sure to plug that. But thank you guys for hanging out. We're On the Wrong Lead. Catch us at onthewronglead.com, at wrong_lead on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe and like our YouTube channel, and we will catch you guys later.